You got Nick Bosa holding out. And honestly, I'm not shocked by this. I think that Nick Bosa will probably get his contract done. The Niners just they typically do it later in training camp for whatever reason. I think that they try to nickel and dime all their players, and the Niners have an abundance of great players. So they kind of have to be penny pinchers in terms of like preserving the cap space. But it's no shock that Nick Bosa is holding out. I'm just glad that he's being super professional about it and like quiet about it, not making it a big spectacle. I think he's going to get paid. He's the reigning defensive player of the year. He's going to get his money. This is going to be an easy one. It's not going to be like a big headache like, oh, how much are you going to be owed? Bosa's going to reset the market in terms of defensive ends. And he is, in my opinion, the best pass rusher in the league. But if he's not, he's definitely top 3.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I think, well, shit. I mean, coming off a defensive play of the year, you're definitely resetting the market. I guess the tough thing is, like you said, with all the top heavy players you guys have, like a Trent Williams, I mean, basically everything other than quarterback and like offensive line minus left tackle, you have star players at every position. You just signed Javon Hargrave at D tackle for like what, $20 million a year.
I don't know the exact number, but I mean,
I want
you
to say it's like
definitely,
4
when it
years,
comes to
80
free
million.
agents, if they're a good free agent, you have to overpay. I mean, typically anyway, you have to overpay for players, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't
But
be shocked if that's. I think it is 20 million because I heard that it was close to the Buckner number, and they should have just
yeah,
kept Forrest Buckner. And that's no disrespect to Javon Hargrave. I like
yeah,
Buckner when he was here.
yeah. But you have a lot of top heavy positions with top heavy contracts. So it's going to start to make things difficult. I mean, like I've been saying, having Brock Purdy on this rookie contract, literally the bare minimum, essentially, that helps. But also you're paying Trey Lance quite a bit to be your number 2, or like you were hinting at, possibly number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, third overall money is quite a bit. So, I don't think they won't sign Bosa. I just think that there might be ramifications next offseason,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that the Niners are kind of praying that it works out with Purdy, so that way. Well, yeah. I mean, Purdy's
That
still in his rookie deal. Like they are
that could be
praying.
the ramification, though.
Yeah.
That could be the ramification is if they sign Bosa, they go into next offseason or this trade deadline, they say, well, we got to trade Trey Lance,
The Niners would have to be insane to not re-sign Bosa or trade him for several first-round picks, like a Khalil Mack type of deal.
Yeah. I was just gonna say like this. Everything about Bosa mostly reminds me of Khalil Mack,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Coming off the defensive player of the year.
Hefa says Chiefs might trade Chris Jones and then sign Bosa. Well, luckily, I think Bosa is still under contract with the Niners. So unless they trade Chris Jones to us, I don't think we need another defensive tackle. Just
Yeah,
saying. But
I don't know if they have or are at the point yet where they can, green light the 5th-year contract. I don't know if that was this past offseason or next offseason, but that seems like a given for Nick Bosa. And then you also
Bosa
have
was a rookie 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. So
this is
this
his
next
5th.
year is going to be his 5th year.
So he's
So
on the
at the
fifth
end of
year
this year,
option.
I don't think he's going to play without that new contract.
100%, but I'm just saying you can also franchise tag him. Like he's not hitting free agency. That's just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So
PS says Bosa needs to stay. I agree. I think Bosa needs to stay. He's one of my favorite players, and
yeah,
I just
defense.
love to see him get after the quarterback.
Yeah, defensive end is too primary of a position to get rid of. John Gruden and the Raiders back in the day with Khalil Mack, that's a whole different story. But it won't happen. He won't leave.
One thing I will say, I think the defense will be okay even without Nick Bosa, because in 2020, Bosa tore his ACL, and Niners had a bunch of injuries, still had like a top 5 defense. So
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is you're going to sign Bosa, and then it's going to be a little harder to get Yeah, he probably will be. He
Yeah,
probably will be.
he's easily going to be 30 plus million. I would, if I had to guess the number, I would say 33, 34 per year,
Yeah. So
with it
point.
gradually increasing. So I would say it probably starts off like a little less and then like maybe go dips into like maybe even the 40s
Yeah.
later down the
Yeah. You could
contract.
backload. Yeah, and
But
you could backload with a big signing bonus, and he'll probably be happy.
I'm not too concerned about Bosa not being at training camp because he's one of those players. I know he's going to come in shape. He's he's absolutely like he's got a high motor. He wants to be great. I know he wants to be paid, and that's why he's not here. Ideally, we would want him with the team so that way other guys can learn from him. He can lead by example, and it's just always better to have the team as a unit. But I have no doubt in my mind Bosa is going to be worth the money. Whereas somebody else, like I was a little bit skeptical about the Niners re-signing Deebo Samuel when they did, because I was like, you can kind of replace receivers, and if he's going to be commanding this much money, you've got. I mean, to me, the decision was going to be between Bosa and Deebo, or that's kind of how I put it in my mind. And I would rather have Bosa back than Deebo. Although that year that Deebo was coming off of right before he got re-signed was amazing, but
Yeah.
Debo's kind of been inconsistent in terms of whether he comes in shape. This year he's in shape, but like I said, sometimes you just don't know. With Bosa, every year he's improved.
Hmm.
So hopefully that doesn't change after he gets paid.
Yeah, I think last point for me is just I think you sign both of this mega deal, and you have other players on top of the line deals at their positions. There's going to come a point where that makes it harder to sign depth pieces in free agency. So that's when the draft's going to start to get very important again, for this team.
Mhm.
So we'll see how it goes.